Have you ever had a moment so perfectly timed it felt like the universe itself was whispering just to you? A thought crosses your mind, and suddenly the exact thing you were thinking of appears right before your eyes. A song you haven't heard in years plays on the radio just as you remember an old friend. These aren't just random events, they feel different, charged with a strange significance. It's that feeling of a perfect coincidence where everything aligns in a way that's too precise, too meaningful to be dismissed as mere chance. It leaves you wondering, what just happened? Is there a hidden order to things? A secret language the world is speaking? This feeling, this strange and wonderful puzzle, is what we're going to explore today. This phenomenon has a name: synchronicity. The term was coined by the brilliant Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung to describe these meaningful coincidences, events that seem connected by meaning rather than a direct cause and effect relationship. Think of it this way: if you drop a glass and it shatters, that's causality. One thing directly caused the other. But if you're desperately thinking about a problem and the answer suddenly appears in a book that falls open to the perfect page, that's synchronicity. There's no physical chain of events connecting your thought to the book falling, yet the connection feels undeniably real and profound. It's a bridge between your inner world of thoughts and feelings and the outer world of events. Jung's fascination with this concept began with a now famous story. He was treating a patient who was very logical and resistant to his therapy. She had recently dreamed of a golden scarab beetle. As she was telling him the dream in his office, Jung heard a gentle tapping at the window. He opened it, and a beetle flew in. Not just any beetle, but a scarab-like beetle, a rose chafer, the closest thing to a golden scarab you could find in that climate. Jung caught it and presented it to her, saying, "Here is your scarab." This shocking, impossible coincidence broke through her rational defenses and opened her up to the deeper, symbolic world of the unconscious, transforming her therapy. For Jung, this was a clear example of synchronicity in action. So, how is synchronicity different from just good luck, or random chance, or even fate? Luck is simply a favorable outcome within the laws of probability. You win the lottery, that's luck. Chance is the randomness that governs many events in the universe. Fate, on the other hand, implies a predetermined destiny, a script that's already been written for you, regardless of your actions. Synchronicity is something else entirely. It isn't about a pre written future, nor is it purely random. It's an active, meaningful moment where your internal state, your thoughts, your emotions, your needs seems to align with an external event. The meaning doesn't come from the event itself, but from your recognition of its significance to your personal journey at that exact moment. It's personal, subjective, and deeply impactful. Jung's exploration didn't stop with psychology. He found an unlikely partner in one of the pioneers of quantum physics, Wolfgang Pauli. This collaboration was a meeting of two incredible minds from seemingly opposite fields. Pauli was grappling with the bizarre, non causal nature of the quantum world, where particles could be connected over vast distances in ways that defied classical physics. He saw a parallel between the strange behavior of the subatomic world and Jung's ideas about the collective unconscious. Together, they speculated about a deeper unifying principle in reality, an underlying order, what they called the unus mundus, or one world, where the division between mind and matter, psyche and physis, dissolves. They proposed that synchronicity might be a glimpse into this unified reality, where both the physical and the psychological emerge from a common source. To understand this, we need to dive into Jung's concept of the unconscious mind. He didn't see it as just a basement for repressed memories. He saw it as a dynamic, creative force, a vast, shared reservoir of human experience, symbols, and archetypes he called the collective unconscious. Jung believed this unconscious realm wasn't chaotic, but was actually a pattern making force. It works through symbols and images, constantly trying to bring balance and wholeness to our conscious lives. From this perspective, a synchronistic event is the unconscious mind projecting a meaningful pattern into the external world, creating a moment where the inner and outer realities mirror each other, helping us see a hidden truth or guiding us toward a new path. But why are we so receptive to these patterns? Why do we instinctively seek meaning in what could be just randomness? The answer may lie in our evolutionary history. As a species, our survival has depended on our ability to recognize patterns, to connect the rustle in the grass with a potential predator, or the shape of clouds with coming rain. We are storytelling animals. We weave narratives to make sense of the world and our place in it. Finding meaning in coincidences might be a byproduct of this powerful, deeply ingrained cognitive trait. We're wired to look for connections, to see a story where there might just be noise. A synchronistic event taps directly into this fundamental human drive for meaning, making it feel incredibly significant and personal. These moments can pop up anywhere in our lives. They often appear in dreams that seem to predict or comment on a future event. You might dream of a long lost friend, only to get a call from them the very next day. They happen in chance meetings, bumping into the one person who has the solution to a problem you've been stuck on for months. Think about deja vu, that eerie feeling of having lived a moment before, or a flash of intuition, a gut feeling that turns out to be uncannily accurate. These are all potential windows into the world of synchronicity. The key is the feeling of significance, the sense that this isn't just random. It's a moment that speaks directly to your current situation, offering guidance, confirmation, or a necessary wake up call. And this leads to a fascinating paradox. A coincidence can be so perfect, so impossibly aligned with your inner state, that it feels entirely unreal. It's a moment that shatters your ordinary understanding of how the world works. You might ask yourself, what are the odds? And find that the probability is so astronomically low that chance feels like an inadequate explanation. This is the heart of the synchronistic experience. It confronts us with the possibility that reality is far stranger and more mysterious than we believe. It's a beautiful paradox where the most improbable event feels like the most meaningful truth, a personal miracle that defies logical explanation yet feels undeniably real to the person experiencing it. So, as we pause here, let's consider a profound question that these experiences raise. If these aren't just random statistical quirks, and if our minds are somehow participating in the unfolding of reality, what does that imply about the universe we live in? Could it be that the cosmos is not just a cold, mechanical clockwork, but something more? something alive, imbued with a kind of consciousness or intention. Is the universe a passive backdrop to our lives, or is it an active participant, a conversational partner in the journey of our own becoming? Have you ever felt that spine tingling moment when the universe seems to be speaking directly to you? A coincidence so perfect, so meaningful, it feels like more than just chance. We've all been there. In our last video, we explored the mystical side of synchronicity. Now, let's put on our lab coats and peer through the microscope of science. What if these uncanny moments aren't just magic, but a beautiful interplay between the laws of probability and the incredible wiring of our own minds? Let's get curious and explore the science behind the serendipity. Our brains are masterful pattern detection machines. This isn't a modern quirk, it's an evolutionary superpower. For our ancestors, spotting a pattern like rustling leaves that signaled a hidden predator or specific clouds that meant rain was coming was the difference between life and death. We are the descendants of the best pattern spotters. This ancient survival mechanism is still running in the background of our modern lives, constantly scanning for connections and meaning in the world around us. So, when a random event aligns with our thoughts, our brain lights up and says, "Hey, pay attention to this. This is important." It's hardwired to connect the dots, even when there are no dots to connect. This brings us to the fascinating world of cognitive biases. These are like mental shortcuts our brain uses to process information quickly. One key player here is apophenia, that is the tendency to perceive meaningful connections between unrelated things. Ever seen a face in the clouds or a shape in your morning toast? That's a mild form of apophenia. Then there's confirmation bias, where we actively seek out and favor information that confirms what we already believe, while ignoring anything that contradicts it. If you believe the number 11 is your lucky number, you'll vividly remember every time it shows up in a positive way. But you'll forget the countless times it didn't mean anything at all. We build our own evidence, one biased observation at a time. Let's talk about the clustering illusion. Our brains hate randomness. We instinctively try to find order in chaos. If you flip a coin 20 times, you might get a string of 6 heads in a row. It looks like a pattern, like something special is happening. But statistically, in a long sequence of random flips, such clusters are not just possible, they're probable. Our mind flags the cluster as significant, while ignoring the random jumble around it. We see a cluster of coincidences in our life and think it must be a sign, when it could just be the natural ebb and flow of random data creating a temporary, beautiful pattern. These biases work together, creating a powerful filter that makes the world seem far more interconnected and personally tailored than it might actually be. To really grasp this, let's look at the famous birthday paradox. It's a fantastic example of how our intuition about probability can be wildly wrong. Here's the question. In a room of just 23 people, what are the chances that at least 2 of them share a birthday? Intuitively, it feels incredibly low. There are 365 days in a year, right? But the actual probability is over 50%. And in a group of 70 people, it jumps to 99.9%. Why? Because we're not looking for someone who shares our specific birthday. We're looking for any pair. The number of possible pairings skyrockets as you add more people. This paradox shows us that events we perceive as extraordinarily rare can be statistically quite common when you consider the sheer volume of possibilities. Think about the billions of people on Earth, having billions of thoughts every single day. The odds of your thought randomly aligning with an external event are actually much higher than you'd think. This ties directly into another mental trick called selective attention. Imagine you've just decided to buy a red car. Suddenly, you see red cars everywhere. It's not that there are more red cars on the road, it's that your brain has now flagged red car as important. It's filtering your reality, bringing those cars into your conscious awareness while ignoring the blue, silver, and black ones you weren't paying attention to before. The same thing happens with synchronicity. When a particular theme or idea is on your mind, maybe you're thinking about starting a new career. Your brain starts actively scanning for anything related to it. You overhear a conversation about it, see a billboard, get an email. Your mind is like a search engine, and you've just entered the keyword. It's not that the universe is sending you signs, it is that you've finally tuned into the right frequency to notice what was already there. Now, let's take a wild turn and dive into the subatomic realm, into the mind bending world of quantum physics. Here, the solid, predictable rules of our everyday world dissolve. At the quantum level, reality isn't a fixed state, it's a shimmering cloud of probabilities. A particle, like an electron, doesn't exist in one specific place until it's measured. It exists in a state of superposition, all possible places at once. This is where the famous observer effect comes in. The very act of observing or measuring a quantum system forces it to choose a single state out of all its possibilities. The observer, just by looking, collapses the wave of probability into a single, concrete reality. Carl Jung, who coined the term synchronicity, was fascinated by this. He saw it as a powerful symbol for how our consciousness might interact with the physical world, how our act of paying attention could, in a way, help shape the reality we experience. This idea of emergent order from chaos isn't just in quantum physics, it's also at the heart of chaos theory. This isn't about pure disorder, it's about complex, dynamic systems that are highly sensitive to initial conditions. Think of a weather system or a flock of birds. There's no single leader bird telling everyone where to go. Instead, each bird follows a few simple rules. Stay close to your neighbors, avoid crashing, match their speed. From these simple, local interactions, a breathtakingly complex and beautiful pattern emerges, the coordinated, swirling flight of the flock. Could our universe be a similar complex system? Perhaps what we call synchronicity is an example of emergent order, a moment where the countless, seemingly random interactions of energy, matter, and consciousness spontaneously align to create a pattern that is beautiful, meaningful, and deeply personal to the observer. So, where does this leave us? Is synchronicity a divine message or just a trick of the mind playing with the laws of probability? Maybe the answer isn't either or. Maybe it's both and. Science doesn't have to strip the magic from the world. Instead, it can reveal a deeper, more intricate kind of magic. The universe is governed by laws of mathematics and physics, and our brains are wired with biases and shortcuts that have helped us survive for millennia. Perhaps synchronicity is where these two realities meet. It's the poetry of science. It's the moment our pattern seeking mind recognizes a beautiful, statistically improbable, yet entirely possible, cluster in the grand, chaotic dance of the cosmos. It's a reminder that even within a world governed by logic and reason, there is still room for wonder, awe, and a profound sense of connection. The universe may not be whispering secrets just for you, but it is creating a symphony of infinite possibilities. And sometimes, just sometimes, we are lucky enough to hear a melody that feels like it was written just for us. For millennia, humans have looked to the world for signs. Ancient civilizations charted the stars, interpreting celestial movements as divine messages. They decoded dreams and read omens in the flight of birds or the patterns of tea leaves, believing the universe was constantly speaking to them. This wasn't just superstition, it was a profound way of engaging with a living, breathing cosmos. In the East, the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, or effortless action, offers a beautiful lens for understanding this. Wu Wei isn't about doing nothing, it's about acting in harmony with the Tao, the natural flow of the universe. It's like a surfer riding a wave, not forcing their will upon the ocean, but moving with its power. When we align ourselves with this flow, we find that things fall into place with a sense of grace and rightness. This is synchronicity in action, a dance between our intentions and the universe's rhythm. A powerful tool for this dance is the I Ching, or the Book of Changes. Far more than a simple fortune telling device, the I Ching is a mirror to the subconscious. By casting coins or yarrow stalks, we create a hexagram that reflects the hidden dynamics of a situation. It doesn't predict a fixed future. Instead, it reveals the inner truth of the present moment, guiding us to act in harmony with the prevailing energies. It helps us see the pattern we're already a part of. This idea of a responsive universe is central to many indigenous worldviews, from the Aboriginal concept of dream time to Native American beliefs. Nature isn't seen as an inanimate resource, but as a conscious partner in a shared existence. Animals, plants, and even stones are considered relatives, offering wisdom and guidance. A chance encounter with a specific animal isn't just a coincidence, it's a message, a moment of connection with the greater web of life that speaks to those who are willing to listen. Interestingly, we see this sense of profound, meaningful events across different belief systems. In religious traditions, we talk about miracles, divine interventions that defy ordinary explanation. In psychology, we talk about synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that connect our inner world with outer events. While the frameworks are different, the core experience is the same: a moment of awe and wonder, a feeling that there is a deeper order and meaning connecting everything. It's a shared human experience of touching something transcendent. And this fascination with meaningful coincidence isn't just confined to ancient texts or spiritual practices. It's woven into the very fabric of our modern culture. Think about your favorite films. How often does a character find a crucial object just when they need it? Or hear a song on the radio that speaks directly to their inner turmoil? From the chance encounters in Serendipity to the prophetic symbolism in The Matrix, synchronicity is a powerful storytelling device. It's not just what happens in the story, it's how the story is told. Synchronicity often shapes the narrative structure itself, the timing of revelations, the parallel journeys of characters who are destined to meet, the recurring motifs that build in meaning, all of these elements create a sense of an invisible hand guiding the plot. It makes the story feel faded, resonant, and deeply satisfying, mirroring our own search for meaning and connection in the chaos of life. Now, let's bring it into the 21st century. Our world is run by algorithms. Ever talked about a product and then seen an ad for it moments later? Or had a social media feed show you a post from a long lost friend you were just thinking about? This is digital synchronicity. Our data creates a personalized universe where technology seems to read our minds, creating coincidences that are engineered yet feel strangely personal. It's a modern, technological echo of the ancient belief that the world is responding to us. In an age where many feel increasingly isolated, these moments of coincidence can be powerful anchors, whether it's bumping into an old friend in a foreign city or discovering a shared, obscure interest with a new acquaintance. These events break through the static of daily life. They remind us that we are part of a larger, interconnected story. These synchronicities can feel like a wink from the universe, a reassuring sign that we are not alone, that there are invisible threads connecting us all. So, what is synchronicity, really? Is it a psychological quirk, a law of the universe, or a message from a higher consciousness? Perhaps it's all of these, but maybe, just maybe, synchronicity is humanity's oldest and most universal language. Before we had words, we had the world speaking to us through patterns, signs, and meaningful coincidences. It's a language of connection, a dialogue between our inner world and the outer cosmos, reminding us that we are part of something vast, mysterious, and beautifully interconnected. Let's move beyond just defining these meaningful coincidences and diving deep into how to live with them, how to engage with them, and ultimately, how to dance with the mystery they represent. So, how do we observe these uncanny events without falling into superstition or fear? The key is to cultivate a state of relaxed awareness. Imagine you're walking through a forest. If you're frantically searching for a specific rare bird, you'll likely miss the deer standing silently just a few feet away. But if you walk with an open, gentle focus, you'll notice the subtle rustle in the leaves, the unique pattern of the bark, and maybe, just maybe, that rare bird will land on a branch right in front of you. Observing synchronicity is similar. It's not about hunting for signs. It's about being present enough to notice the patterns that emerge naturally. When a coincidence happens, don't immediately jump to conclusions like, this is a sign I must quit my job, or this is a bad omen. Instead, simply acknowledge it. Say to yourself, isn't that interesting? Hold it lightly. Let it be a gentle nudge, not a command from the universe. This approach keeps you grounded, preventing you from spiraling into anxiety or making rash decisions based on a single event. It's about being an observer, not a fortune teller. This leads us to the art of being open to patterns without forcing meaning onto them. Forcing meaning is like trying to cram a square peg into a round hole. You might make it fit, but you'll damage both the peg and the hole in the process. When you encounter a series of coincidences, resist the urge to immediately construct a rigid narrative. Let the pattern breathe. Think of it less as a definitive answer and more as a question or a theme the universe is presenting to you. If you keep hearing about a specific country, it doesn't automatically mean you must move there. It might simply be an invitation to explore that culture, read a book by an author from there, or even just appreciate a new perspective. Openness means allowing the meaning to unfold over time like a slow blooming flower, rather than trying to pry the petals open yourself. From this open perspective, synchronicity can become an incredible creative compass. Many artists, writers, and innovators talk about this phenomenon. They'll be stuck on a project, and suddenly they'll overhear a conversation, see a random image, or find a book that contains the exact piece of inspiration they need. This isn't magic, it's the result of a mind primed to find connections. When you're deeply immersed in a creative pursuit, your subconscious is constantly scanning the environment for relevant information. Synchronicity acts as the bridge between your inner world and the outer world, delivering unexpected solutions and novel ideas. It can guide your art, your writing, your business ideas, not by giving you a roadmap, but by pointing you toward unexplored territories and whispering, "Hey, look over here. There's something interesting for you." So, how do we get better at noticing these subtle connections? The most powerful tool is mindfulness. In our hyperstimulated world, our attention is constantly fragmented. We're scrolling, we're multitasking, we're thinking about the next thing on our to do list. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing our attention back to the present moment without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, whether through meditation, mindful walking, or simply paying full attention to your cup of tea, you are training your brain to be a more sensitive receiver. You start to notice the little things, the way the light hits a building, the specific tone in someone's voice, the recurring number that pops up throughout your day. Your awareness expands, and the veil between the seemingly random events of the world and your inner state becomes more transparent. The more present you are, the more the world reveals its interconnectedness to you. Psychologically, there's a fascinating way to view this. Some psychologists, building on Carl Jung's work, see coincidences as mirrors of our inner focus. This is related to what's known as the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, or the frequency illusion. You learn a new word or buy a new car, and suddenly you see it everywhere. The word or the car was always there. Your brain is just now primed to notice it. In the same way, when you are deeply focused on a personal question, a challenge, or a passion, your mind unconsciously projects that focus onto the world. The world, in turn, reflects it back to you through coincidences. So, when synchronicity occurs, it's not just an external event. It's a reflection of what's happening inside you. It's a dialogue between your psyche and the world, showing you what you are truly focused on, often on a level you weren't even conscious of. Philosophically, we can take this even further. Some philosophical traditions see the universe not as a cold, indifferent machine, but as an interactive, co creative participant in our lives. In this view, consciousness is not just something that exists within our skulls, it's a fundamental aspect of reality. The universe is a vast, interconnected web of energy and information, and we are an integral part of that web. From this perspective, synchronicity is the visible evidence of our participation. It's the universe winking at us, showing us that we are heard, that our intentions and our focus have a real, tangible effect on the reality we experience. It suggests that we are in a constant dance with the cosmos, co creating our path with a universe that is just as alive and aware as we are. To make this dance more tangible, you can engage in some simple, personal practices. Start a synchronicity journal. Whenever a meaningful coincidence occurs, no matter how small, write it down. Note the date, the event, and how you felt. Over time, you'll start to see larger patterns emerge that you would have otherwise forgotten. Another powerful practice is keeping a dream log. Our dreams are a direct line to our subconscious, and you'll often find that the themes and symbols in your dreams precede or mirror the synchronicities you experience in your waking life. Finally, practice gratitude. By regularly acknowledging what you're thankful for, you shift your mindset from one of lack to one of abundance and connection, making you more receptive to the positive and meaningful coincidences that come your way. Now, a crucial point: when should we trust our intuition in these moments, and when should we question it? Intuition is a powerful guide, but it's not infallible. A good rule of thumb is to check in with your body and your emotions. True intuition often feels calm, clear, and expansive, even if it's guiding you toward a challenging decision. It's a quiet knowing. In contrast, a gut feeling, driven by fear, anxiety, or wishful thinking, often feels frantic, constricted, or emotionally charged. So, when a synchronicity sparks an intuitive hit, pause. Does it align with your core values? Does it feel grounded and logical, in addition to feeling right? Trust your intuition, but verify it with reason and self awareness. Don't be afraid to question it, to sleep on it, and to see if the feeling persists with that same calm clarity. This brings us to the delicate balance between skepticism and wonder. Being too skeptical can close you off to the magic and mystery of life, leading you to dismiss everything as mere random chance. You miss the poetry of existence. On the other hand, being too credulous, too full of unquestioning wonder, can lead you down a path of delusion where you see signs in everything and lose your grip on reality. The sweet spot is in the middle. Be a wondering skeptic. Approach synchronicity with the open heart of a child who believes in magic, but also with the discerning mind of a scientist who asks for evidence and looks for alternative explanations. Acknowledge the statistical probability of coincidences. Understand the psychological biases at play, and at the same time, allow yourself to be awestruck when a coincidence feels so perfect, so personal, that it transcends simple explanation. In the end, our exploration of synchronicity leads us to a beautiful and profound conclusion. We live in a universe where meaning and randomness are not opposing forces, but eternal dance partners. Sometimes randomness leads, and life is just a series of disconnected events. Sometimes meaning leads, and the universe orchestrates a symphony of connections just for us. The truth is, they are always dancing together. Our lives are a constant interplay of chance and purpose, of chaos and order. The real gift of synchronicity isn't about predicting the future or finding all the answers. It's about learning the steps to this cosmic dance. It's about living with a sense of wonder, paying attention to the connections, and participating in the magnificent, mysterious, and meaningful creation of our own reality. Thank you so much for joining me on learning more about synchronicity. It has been an absolute joy to explore this topic with you. If you've enjoyed this journey, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing your own synchronicity stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Until next time.